So you may have heard these terms before: single page application, routers, links. They sound very complicated, but they're actually so much easier than you think. So in Web Digital, we have a little website here, and when it's loaded, you can see, it's a drag and drop editor. We can create a page as we want, which is fine. But how do you convert that to like multiple pages? And that being said, how do you even navigate within the editor? So that's what we're going to be covering today. So normally in this template that we have, I mean, every template is different slightly, but in this one, you basically click onto the menu button, and then it opens up this side panel, and then we have links. And then normally in the front end, you click these links, and that's basically how you navigate. So let's take a look at how it looks in the front end. So you click on this, shows this, okay, and then I can navigate like that in the front end, or I can click on direct links to switch between the different pages. So how do I do that in the back end? So that's a little bit more complicated. As you can see, the clicks are working. So I can click this and then close the button to expand the panel. But then how do I click follow the link? In the back end, it's a little bit different. So we have this link arrow here. So if you click that, that's when we're going to be transitioning, and then you can close the side panel after you switch. But obviously, this is quite complex and tedious to switch between pages like that. So instead, we have this route manager. So whenever you go to the website, there is this section here that shows the loaded route. And basically, when you click that, it shows all the possible routes that the website has, and then you can click on individual routes and then go to those sections directly. So like if I want to go to the home page, it's as simple as clicking over here, and it's the same thing. You can follow the links. There's a link to the Contact Us page here. And then you can click on that, and you will still go to the same place. So it's pretty much the same thing. But there is a little bit more to it than that. So if you actually look at the element tree, we have a close button over here. There is the root element. So this is the topmost element. And then there's a menu section that we saw, and then there's a page wrap and header wrap, etc. And then there's something called frame router here. So this is a very important concept. So that's basically where the change of content is going to be happening. So it is an element when you click on it, and you can see that it's an element, but it has particular settings called routes. So whenever these routes are loaded, the router is going to change its content to fit these routes. And when you click on one of the routes, it shows you, oh, I'm going to this particular component. So basically, whenever you look at the element tree, you have elements. So this is the topmost level component that we have, which is the root component. So this one over here shows the loaded component, the rendered component, which is the root component. And when you click on that, you get the component manager. And in the component manager, you can see contact is, for example, a component, which is a page. And it's also a route that's loaded from the router that we just saw. So if we go to the element tree again, so the frame router, that's basically where it is. And, we can load like different routes by clicking on these. And then, that's basically how the routing happens. That's why it's called a router. It basically routes different contents based on the URL, the page. All right. So whenever how do we add a new route? We can just find the router, and then we can say add route. But it's a little bit easier than that. So if you click on the rendered route, we get this route manager. And if you want to edit the routes, it basically takes you directly to that particular router, and also loads the route. But if you want to add a new route, you can also click here, and it will directly take you to that place to add a route. So here we can actually say, like a new test page, and then we can actually create a new component, or automatically, or we can use an existing component. So we could come over to the component manager, add a new component, edit it, etc., and then use it over here. But creating a new component is very easy. So let's do that. So we created a new test route over here, and if you look at it, it basically goes to this new component. And yeah, so that's basically what we're editing. So if you look at the elements tree, we now see that there's a div over here, and then we can just add stuff onto it as you wish. All right, so this is how the and then we can go back to our main route. So this is how it would work when you actually have a templated website, which is typically what you do. But how would you do that in a blank website? Let's say I have nothing like this, right? So how do I configure all this? So it's actually quite easy. So you look at the add element, and in the add element under dynamic section, you can actually add a route. So it's basically as simple as that. So about the router, you would typically have, let's say, let's add a block before this, and then we can add a heading over here, and this might be our header, and let's make it centered, and then let's make it a little bit big. Maybe add a little padding and a little background just to make it make sure that we can actually see it. And then I'm just going to duplicate this and for a footer. And then if we come over here, we have the footer heading over here. And yeah, so basically what I would want is to be able to change the content of this router whenever I go to different routes. And then you can just come over here and you can configure different routes. You can say add new. Let's say, so the first thing that we need to add is actually the root route, which makes it a little bit weird. Like you're adding the root route, etc. It's normally it's added over here. There's actually an easier way to deal with routes than this. So let's just delete this. And instead, I'm just going to add a little block. And that's typically how you would actually start the content. So you typically start with the main page, how it's going to be looking like. And then we can add a little heading over here. Let's say this is our home page. And then after that, I can add maybe a little paragraph. And then let's generate some lorem ipsum text, whatever it may be. Okay, so we have a little home page here. So how do I convert that to a route? So basically, you go to the element, the block element, and then you say, I want to make this a router. And then you give the name of the router, whatever it may be. And then that's it. So if you look at the element tree, so now we have a router, and block is just in there as its child, and it's root route. So if you look at the root route, it's basically created a separate component for it, and that's basically what it is. And then at this point, we can just go to the route manager, say add route, which takes us to that router, and then we can say test whatever, and then we create it. And then we can just add another heading over here. You can see we're at test page right now. So I can add something like test page. And now I can just go, change my route between these pages that I created. All right, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching.